In this video, I'll teach you how to process your astrophoto in Pixinsight in an easy, simple, beginner-friendly way. I was able to turn the image on the left to the image on the right in about 5 minutes using this exact workflow. I didn't use any paid plugins or free trials, so anybody can follow this, and let's go ahead and get right into it. Before we start editing our photo in Pixinsight, we're just going to download a free plugin called Graxpert, and it's going to make things a lot easier, simpler, and our image is going to turn out a lot better. So all you have to do is click on the operating system you're using and download that. Then you can just go ahead and complete these steps and let it install on your computer. Okay, now we want to open up Pixinsight and go up to where it says Resources, Updates, Manage Repositories. Now we want to click on Add, and we're going to paste in this repository link. I'll link this down in the description so you can just copy and paste it in. Once you have that in there, hit OK, and then OK again. Now we want to go back up to Resources, Updates, and check for updates this time. It should find the updates, so once it finds that, hit Apply, OK. Then once you close Pixinsight, you can hit Yes to download the updates, and it should reopen with all the changes applied. Now the last step is we go up to Scripts, Toolbox, and then where it says Graxpert, click on that. And then where it has the little wrench icon, click No, and then we want to locate where Graxpert is on our computer. So here it is for me. Click on the one that looks like this and click Open, and Graxpert should be ready to run. Alright, now that we have Graxpert installed, we can go ahead and start processing our image. So to open our stack, go ahead and click on File, Open, and locate your stack. If you haven't stacked your images yet, or you don't know how to stack in Pixinsight, I'll go ahead and pop up a tutorial in the top right of the video, which you'll see now. But if you already have your stack, let's go ahead and start processing. So we can go up to Process, All Processes, and look for Screen Transfer Function. Next, we can click this Auto Stretch button right here, and we see our image. Now, for most of you, especially the ones who are using one-shot color, you're going to see a green cast, and that's super simple to fix. But the next thing we're going to do is go up to Process, All Processes, and click on Dynamic Crop. Now, we just want to make a box and crop out all the edges and areas we don't want, because when we stack, we're going to have stacking artifacts. So just left-click and make a box to where you want. Click the green check mark, and your image is cropped. So we can go ahead and close this out and go up to Script, Toolbox, and Graxpert. So what we're going to do here is just make sure your image is set to the one you're working on. Make sure this is subtraction. As far as the smoothing goes, I think it's safe to use around 0.5. So what I usually use, if you have a really bad gradient or light pollution, you could go higher, but I'm just going to use that. Click the green check mark, and this is going to remove the green cast and the gradients and light pollution in our image. As you can see, it did a really nice job with that. Now we can go back to Process, All Processes, and Color Calibration. To keep it simple, we're just going to drag this triangle in the bottom left onto our image, and it will fix the colors in our image. Once that finishes, we can go back and hit our Auto Stretch button under Screen Transfer Function, and our colors are a little better. Close this out and go back up to Process, All Processes, and this time we are looking for SCNR, which is all the way over here. What this is going to do is just remove the extra green cast we have in our image. So I like to use around 0.75, I find works good. Drag and drop the triangle onto our image, and that will remove all the green cast. So now our colors look pretty good. The next thing we're going to do is go up to Script, Toolbox, and we're going to use Graxpert Denoise now. This tool I found is the best free method to get rid of noise in your image, so I like to use strength around 0.7 if I have a lot of noise, which I do here, and just hit the check mark, and it will remove the noise in our image. Okay, it just finished. Sometimes that takes a few minutes, but as you can see, it did an amazing job with removing the noise. Here is a before and after. You could even bump up the strength a little more if you don't think it did enough, but I think that really cleaned up our image. So the next thing we want to do is stretch our image. So as of now, if we were to save our image, it would just look like a black screen and we wouldn't see what we have here. So to stretch our image, we go up to Process, All Processes, and open up Histogram Transformation. Now this part's a little tricky, but what we want to do is make sure we have this check marked to our image. Then drag this triangle down to the gray part of histogram transformation, drop it there, hit the check mark on histogram transformation, and then hit the square. Now back up to screen transfer function. We want to uncheck this screen, and now our image is stretched. Next thing we want to do is open up Process All Processes and open up something called Curves Transformation. We can hit this circle to open up a preview, and then what we're going to do is something called S-curves, and it basically increases the contrast in our image. So around the top of this line, we're going to place a point and drag that point up a little bit. And then closer to the bottom of the line, we're going to place a point, drag that down a little bit. And then in the top left of our preview at this circle, if we click that, we can see a before and after. So you can kind of see that we have more contrast and a little more pop in that center area. If you want to apply it, just hit this square, and then we can close out our preview. And we can go ahead and look at a before and after, which looks good. You can do as many of these as you want, but I think I'll stop there. We can open up our preview again. In the bottom right of the curves transformation, click on this reset button, and then click on this S, and now we're going to boost the saturation of our image. So around the middle of the line, you can place a point and drag it up until you think it looks good. I think that looks good right there, and then click apply. And now you can see a before and after in here. And I just increased the saturation a little bit, which looks good. The last adjustment I'm going to make is under Process, All Processes, Histogram Transformation again. I'm going to check mark to make sure I'm working on the right image, and reset this to make sure everything's set right. Open up my preview, and this arrow all the way to the left, I'm just going to drag that over, and I'm making my background darker. You don't want to go too far because then you start clipping and losing data and it looks bad, but just going to darken my background slightly, and I think that is a little too dark actually. So I'll go back and fix it, and I think that looks good right there. This obviously isn't the best tutorial. It's a beginner quick tutorial if you just want to get an image done, if it's your first image or whatever. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing. And as always, thanks for watching.